Most SBLCs and MTNs you see in the market are fake. That's not a sensational claim. It's the reality. In fact, studies and industry data suggest that well over 80% of the so-called offers circulating online will never survive the first stage of compliance. Today, we're going to break down exactly why that happens, how to distinguish between fake and real instruments, and the step-by-step process that governs a genuine SBLC or MTN transaction. But before we begin, I want you to remember this. The public knowledge we'll cover here is valuable, but the real trade mechanics, the exact insider flow and templates, are something we reserve for our gated video on TradeSKR.com. If you want the deep walkthrough of how institutions structure, verify, and settle these trades, you'll find it there. Let's start with the basics. An SBLC, or Standby Letter of Credit, is a bank-issued guarantee. At its core, it says, if my client fails to pay or perform, the bank will cover it. SBLCs are powerful instruments in trade finance, project funding, and structured transactions because they provide certainty to counterparties. An MTN, or medium-term note, is different. MTNs are securities, debt obligations typically issued by corporations or banks with maturities ranging from 1 to 10 years. They are not pieces of paper you can shuffle around in an email. They are regulated financial products, usually carrying ISIN codes, and they settle through Euroclear or other trusted clearing systems. Now let's talk about why most of what you hear in the open market is fake. The number one reason is the absence of SKR, the safe-keeping receipt. Think of SKR as the warehouse receipt of financial instruments. In commodities, if you claim to have 10,000 tons of copper cathodes, but you can't produce a warehouse receipt, nobody will believe you. In financial instruments, the SKR is that proof. A genuine SBLC or MTN must be deposited and acknowledged by a custodian bank. That bank then issues the SKR, confirming the instrument is held and available. Without it, you're looking at a ghost instrument. The second reason most offers collapse is the absence of proper delivery. For SBLCs, the only valid channel is SWIFT MT 760. For MTNs, settlement must occur through Euroclear or SWIFT. If you're shown a PDF or a photocopy instead, it's worthless. Real instruments move bank to bank, not inbox to inbox. And the third reason deals collapse is non-compliance. Genuine SBLCs and MTNs are tightly regulated because of their potential misuse. Any transaction requires full KYC and AML checks on both sides. Fraudulent intermediaries try to bypass this stage, but serious banks will never process an instrument without compliance. Let's drill down into the types of SBLCs, because this is where many brokers and intermediaries get confused. First, we have the Performance SBLC. This is essentially a performance bond. It's used when a contractor or supplier needs to guarantee delivery of a project. If they fail, the beneficiary draws on the SBLC. You'll often see these in construction and infrastructure. Second, the financial SBLC. This is a payment guarantee. If the buyer defaults, the SBLC covers the shortfall. It's widely used in trade finance to provide comfort to exporters. Third, the commercial SBLC. This is a hybrid often used in import and export deals. It ensures that suppliers get paid once delivery obligations are met, usually alongside shipping documents like a bill of lading. Fourth, the Credit Enhancement SBLC, where corporations or funds use the instrument to boost creditworthiness or back a bond issuance. And finally, the Program or Securities SBLC, which sometimes appears in structured investment programs. This is the most abused category because scammers often claim to lease SBLCs into MTN trades. In reality, these instruments can only be placed in highly controlled bank-to-bank programs, and leasing is almost always a red flag. If you cannot clearly identify which type of SBLC is being offered, walk away. Now let's take a closer look at MTNs. An MTN is not a commodity. It is not copper or crude oil. It is a regulated security. When a bank or corporation issues MTNs, they are selling debt to investors. Those notes are registered with ISIN numbers, and they settle through Euroclear or similar systems. Fraud typically enters the picture when brokers advertise so-called discounted MTNs. They promise access to paper at 50 or 60% of face value. The truth is, real institutions do not operate this way. If you want to verify an MTN, you check the ISIN and you confirm settlement through Euroclear. Anything outside of that is fake. This is a critical point. Real MTNs cannot be flipped like cargo. They are securities. Their trading is regulated. Any deal outside of that structure is illegitimate. So, what does a real SBLC or MTN trade look like? It starts with custody. The instrument must be placed inside a regulated bank. That bank issues the SKR, confirming its existence. Next comes delivery. For an SBLC, this means Swift MT760. For MTNs, Euroclear or Swift confirmation. Then comes compliance. Both sides must pass KYC and AML screening. Institutions demand it because the risks of misuse are too high. Only then, after custody, delivery, and compliance, does execution occur. Settlement is confirmed and proceeds are released. If someone offers you a shortcut, it's not real. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: scams, leased SBLCs, discounted MTNs, secondary market offers delivered as PDFs. These are red flags. In our work at TradeSKR, we've seen countless clients waste time chasing them. The common thread is always the same: no SKR, no proper delivery, and no compliance. The truth is simple. Real trades are boring. They are compliance-heavy, document-heavy, and bank-to-bank. That's why they close. At this point, you might be asking, how do you actually structure one of these trades step by step? What are the exact templates banks expect? What does a compliant transaction flow look like from start to finish? That's exactly what we've put together inside our Gated Insider video at TradeSKR.com. There, we break down real transaction flows with SKR confirmation, Swift messaging formats, Euroclear settlement, and compliance templates. It's the information that most brokers will never see, and the exact reason so many deals collapse. To summarize, most SBLCs and MTNs in the open market are fake. A genuine instrument requires SKR custody, SWIFT or Euroclear delivery, and full compliance. SBLCs come in several types, each with a different purpose. If the type isn't clear, the deal isn't real. MTNs are securities, not commodities. They trade under strict regulation with ISIN and Euroclear. Fraudulent offers collapse because they skip custody, delivery, or compliance. Knowledge is your edge. If you understand how these instruments really work, you won't waste time chasing ghosts. For the full insider mechanics, the detailed transaction flows, compliance checklists, and real templates, join us inside our gated video at TradeSKR.com. That's where we teach what professionals actually use to close deals.